Hey, Diane DeWald with CreativeCatCrafts.com. Welcome back to the channel. And this is the card we're going to make today. I had something completely different planned for today, and I peeked in on Megan Andrews' live today, or her recorded video on Gina's YouTube channel. And my concept that I had all planned out was very similar to hers. So I scrambled this afternoon. This is Monday afternoon, what day is this? June 15th. And excuse me, I scrambled and had to come up with a new concept. And I think this is so much fun. Might do something a little different with that hat. I might leave the hat white. That color just kind of blends in with the background, but then I don't know, I kind of like it. So from the June 2nd release, the card kit, Sunny Days and Breezy Nights. I did order it, and as you can see, and it came in a little bit late. I had planned on doing a card last week on Friday, and this kit decided to go for a tour of Indiana last week and arrived too late for Friday's video. So let's get to this. Today we are using the Sunny Days and Breezy Nights, the stamp set, and the die set, which I have here. And you can see I've used a couple elements, the little flip-flops, the hat, and then this is the sentiment from that. And on the inside, I did one of those little water splashes. I thought it was fun. And also Master Layout 1, these two large rectangles, and I'll flip the down here, the dimensions when we get to that point. And if you have them, the single and the double stitched dies, the rectangles, that's what this focal point is here. And if you don't have those, I'll also give you the dimensions. So let me go ahead and get this all set up. I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to do the blending first of this panel here on the front. I want to give that ink enough time to dry so that I don't get all super inky. And these are the inks, and I'll have all of my supplies listed down below. So I've got Sandy Beach, Ocean Mist, Turquoise Sea, Tranquil Teal, and in the Navy. That's the colors that I chose for that background panel. So let's go ahead and get that going. And we're going to start with Ocean Mist. And I'm going to use Gina's sticky mat. Mine is, you can see, Well Loved. And I'm using an 80-pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. Okay, so I've got 4 different blending brushes, a light teal, a dark teal, my dark blue, and then my brown. And my light teal, I believe I just used this for the Ocean Mist. So let's go ahead and, I need to make sure that I'm doing this horizontal instead of landscape. I do most of my cards landscape. So we're just going to start down here light hand. We're just going to start building color. And taking that up the panel. And it's going to look splotchy. I got a little heavy-handed down there on the right-hand corner, but that's okay. We're just going to take this part way up the panel. Add up a little more ink. Start down here and pull it up. You don't want to start in the middle, and I am not a ink blending queen. I don't do a whole lot of it. My arm gets tired. I don't know about you. My arm gets tired. Okay. We're going to call that good with the Ocean Mist. And then we're going to bring in the Turquoise Sea. And for that, I've got my dark teal. And I'm going to go ahead, because I use this for the tranquil teal and what was this again? The turquoise sea. Oh, I can't keep any of this straight. So I'm just going to pull off as much color as I can. Okay. So let's pop this open. And I just stuck my finger in there. That's okay. Okay. And down here, we're going to start at the bottom again. And not going up completely up to where I ended the ocean mist. Because I want this color graduated, but I want it to blend in. So I want darker on the bottom and lighter on the top. And start down here and go back up. And just like that. Okay. And I'm gonna wipe that up. I'm using my glass mat to absorb or to use it as a pounce. Now we're heading towards tranquil teal. Ooh, you can see definitely darker blue. And we're going to start down here. Still pretty much a light touch. I'm increasing the pressure just a little bit. And I'm not taking it as far up the card panel as what I did with the tranquil teal. And you can see it is building the color. I'm just going to pull that up because I want to use that. And then as I'm blending the variation of the color, I'm lightening the pressure as I go up the card. Okay, let's wipe that down. And we're done with that. And now we're going to pull in our Night of Navy. This is such a pretty color. And I don't need much of this color on here. And in fact, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to wipe off some of that excess ink from this panel. And we're going to start off the card panel really light and then see how it's laying down the color and then gradually increase the pressure depending on how much color it's laying down. And then gradually pull it up just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? That is super gorgeous. Okay, now I am going to, one last thing, turn this around. I'm going to grab my Sandy Beach. And I'm going to grab my brown. Yep, that was Sandy Beach. And we're going to start here at the top. And I'm not going to quite blend it all the way in because I want a little bit of whiteness here for the sea foam. You can kind of see over here, there's a little bit of a white. That's kind of the sea foam where it's hitting the beach. And just increase the pressure just a little, just to get a little bit of sand there. But I still want some white there. Okay, we're going to call that done. And I'm going to peel this up off the panel. Oh, it's still very sticky. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. And this is going to smooth out even more as it dries. So let me get this out of the way. I want the finished card out of the way. And I need to grab a microfiber towel because I did not grab one. wipe where I was pouncing my blending brushes, and I'm just squirting water on this and then wiping off. See how much ink I pulled off of that? Okay, now I'm going to get set up for the next step. Okay, I've cut out the elements that I'm going to be utilizing today, and I saved a negative from the hat, the sentiment, and the sandals, and I have a bunch of blanks. I've already gone ahead, I've got them all lined up. If you've been around my channel, you've seen this before. I basically, let me demonstrate this. I basically take a negative and this minty tape, this is 1/2 inch minty tape, and I put this on the back, and then I wrap it around, and I do this to be able to hold the die cuts in place, and you'll see that. And I stamp this onto regular scrap cardstock, and then I line these up and then tape them down so that I can place die cuts and stamp a bunch in kind of like a production line way of doing it. I will put a link down below for a video I've done previously. So let's get started. I'm going to grab one of the sentiments because we only need one of those. We only need one of the hats, but I need 3 of the little sandals. And for this, I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black because I'm going to be using some alcohol markers. I initially thought I was going to use Gamsol and colored pencils, and it's been a while. It's been a minute since I've used that. So I need to practice that again. I think this is my warped door. One more on that. And the hat needs a little bit more help. And the sandals are good. So let me grab my little pick tool, pull that out of here. And I need 2 more of the sandals, so we'll go ahead and get those done. Perfect. I just love doing die cuts this way because you can sit there and get them all done up and sit in front of the TV and color to your heart's content with whatever medium you like. Okay, we are done with that. I'm gonna get these out of the way, and I want to clean that off real quick. Just some water and my microfiber towel. I really like these towels. I know not everybody likes the feel of microfiber, but these are lint-free, predominantly lint-free. Occasionally it will leave something behind, but not often. And we are ready to color. So let me pause you, get this all taken care of, and I'll be right back. I actually fibbed just a little. So, pardon me. Master Layouts 1, we're going to go ahead and cut all of our panels, and we'll cut this panel. It should be dry enough now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up, and I just need to make sure I pick the smaller of the 2 rectangles. Yep, and down in the left hand, actually right hand corner right here, This is the smaller of the two master layouts one. It is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and get this cut down. And I'm going to cut an inside panel from my 80-pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. And I don't think I said, but my little die cuts, I like 110-pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White on those. And here's my inside panel. I'm just making sure I'm grabbing the right one. And again, it's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Move that water bottle. It's casting a shadow right there. And then we are done with that. That's my inside panel. And then because I'm mailing this, I like to use 65-pound Pop Tone Black Licorice. I get all of this cardstock that I've shown you from Cut Cardstock. They're in Valparaiso, Indiana. They're a family-owned business, so I like supporting them. And I'm using the Master Layout 1. This is the 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I need to grab one more white and one more black panel. Since we're cutting, I might as well cut the 2 focal points that I need. So let me go grab more. Okay, and so the 3 3/4 by 2 3/4, that is the white layer. And before I cut that, actually, I need to grab my blending brush again. I'll be right back. Okay, I have my Sandy Beach, and this is a horizontal card, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it horizontal. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to do this because I'm going to lay my hand right here, and this is Sandy Beach. So I grabbed my brown brush again, and this panel right here, I'm just taking the sand up that panel, and then we're going to trim it. It was supposed to look like people left their flip-flops in the sand. That's the look I'm going for. And I totally forgot about this part. Okay, so I'm going to cover this. I don't want that to react to water. And I'm going to just clean my glass mat here real quick. Put that away. I'll be right back. I definitely knew I was forgetting something. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off the edge down here where the bristles of the brush so that it's a little more even. And then what were the dimensions again? The top was 3 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this edge off, turn it around, and we're going to get 3 3/4. And we just need 2 3/4. Perfect. Look at that. That's gorgeous. So on this one, we need 3 7/8. So I'm going to go ahead and 3, 3 1/2, 3 3/4, 3 7/8, and then 2 7/8. And that should be exactly what we need. So let me move some nice size scraps right there. Let me get this trimmer out of the way because we are done with that. And I'm going to go ahead. Nope, I'm not going to glue anything yet. But this is what we're going to look at. Isn't that gorgeous? And this panel, I just love it. Oop. And I noticed I had some little hairs up here from when I trimmed it. And if you just get a nail file, it just takes away that cardstock dust. Just like that. And then it's perfect. You don't see any of that. Oh, and I see I have some from the black. There. Perfect. I love it. Okay. So inside of the card, I said we were going to do something fun. And I'm going to go ahead and put that up here. And where's that splash at? I want this little splash down here, over here in the corner. And the Memento Tuxedo Black. Just like that. Oh, and I see the dimensions are still there on the screen. So let me go ahead and hide those. And I just want to ink that one more time. Just make sure. Okay, that's perfect. Perfect. And we are done with Memento. Now, here's the fun part. Alcohol markers. I use Ohuhu's markers. And I just recently picked up the 320 set. And it's the new numbers. So I follow an artist by the name of Sandy Allnock. And Sandy has on her website a hex chart. I'm not selling this. I'm not offering this. I'm just telling you what I have done to help me in swatching colors. I would head over to Sandy Allnock's website. I will put a link to her website down below. I'm making myself a note. And I went through and colored mine. Now you're looking at this going, wait a minute, there's no numbers. So I have a program called Procreate. And I went ahead, because Sandy has a hex chart. Oops, that don't work. That has just the new numbers. And she has one that has the new numbers and the old. So I went ahead and took her chart, pulled it into Procreate, erased all of the lines, printed it out on this transparency, a printable transparency, and then laminated it so that I can go like this and line up whether I want the old and the new or just the new. And the reason I did not print them on this and then color, I didn't want my printer ink to be to distort the color of the hex. And if I want to take a piece and pull it along here, I'm not having to compete with all that writing. That's why I did it. Now, because this is Sandy's, I can't offer this transparency. I'm just telling you what I did because this is Sandy's work. She spent a lot of hours on this, and I'm not going to be one of those that takes it and makes a profit on it. I'm just showing you what I did. So all I can say is, Sandy, thank you so much for the hard work on these hex charts. I think you did a fantastic job and I very much appreciate it. Now, this hex chart, it's in Sandy's store. It is very relatively inexpensive. So I'm going to send you over there. This is my old chart with the old numbers. And I'm trying to come up with something else that will help me with these. So let's get on with coloring. So out of all that, I ended up with 3 colors. And I'm sorry for the motorcycle. Oh, nope. It's a Camaro that just came by. I have the windows open because this is an absolutely gorgeous day. So I have BG19. I'm using the colorless potentially, E06 and E14. And I need to go downstairs and see what the cats are doing. I have no idea what my cats were doing. They looked guilty as all sin. But that's just crazy. So I did a bunch of color swatching between pencils and alcohol. So we're just going to quickly color in all of these little guys. I'm going to try to get my fingers out of the way. I'm trying to remember which one I used for what. The E06, which is the Bog Mist Green. The names have changed too. That is with the old markers E432. And I'm just going to use the small nib, and I'm coloring the sandal strap. This is kind of like walking and chewing bubble gum at the same time. Yeah, when I went downstairs, my little black girl, Gina, she's an all black cat. She's beautiful. She's very anxious. So she was, I don't know what she was afraid of, and I can't find my brown tabby. She's somewhere in the house. Oh, good, you're able to see what I'm doing here. And I'm not pressing very hard. And I am not doing the blending that you see lots of people do. I'm just coloring this in because I like the color. I like the look of alcohol markers. I would love to be able to blend and shadow. I just need to sit down and just do a ton of practicing. And I haven't had the opportunity. One of these days. But Sandy Allnock is who told me, well, not just me specifically, two of the tips. She said when coloring with alcohol markers, if you're getting bleeding, make sure that you put something porous behind what you're coloring. So you notice I'm using a scrap piece of cardstock. And the reason for that is alcohol markers tend to bleed through. So if you have it bleed through onto a slick surface or my glass mat, where's that ink gonna go? It's gonna come back up into the cardstock and it's gonna spread. That was her advice. And the second advice for getting it to not spread is if you have a very juicy marker, take the cap off the other end while you're coloring, because I'm noticing a little bleed through. So what this does is it makes sure you don't have bleed through or overflow ink or ink overflowing out the other end. It relieves the pressure in the tube, I think is what she was trying to get across, if I'm remembering the video correctly and her explanation. And don't ask me for the video because I have no idea which video it was in that she gave that advice. I just like to pass that information along. There. And I'm going to go ahead and color the ribbon. These are brand new markers, so it's very possible this had some excess ink. And I have noticed as I've been coloring with alcohol markers, by doing those two things and having a very light touch, because you saw me just kind of doing that, instead of, that's going to put down a lot of color when you go like this. And so this was, and I'm sorry, this was BG19 in the new color. And the old color, that was G324. And E14 in the new, which is YG040. Oops. I'm using the nibs today. Lots of detail. Turn that so that I can hold on to it. And voila, we are done coloring. And we can put this card together, I believe. I love those sandals. Those are so cool. And the last thing I need is a card base. Let me go grab one. Okay, these I also get from Cut Cardstock. You can see, whoops, come on, focus. It's already scored for me. All I have to do is fold it over, burnish that down, and let's get the inside. I'm going to use my Tombow glue on this. I'll do a few other things using Gina's matte glue. I just have a lot of this Tombow glue I need to use up. Uh-oh. Did I? Yep, it's already down. It's slightly uneven, but that's okay. And make sure that this, that's so fun. And I'm going to go ahead and just use some minty tape just to keep that closed. And then this panel, that turned out so beautiful. I love that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oops, that was my thumb down here. That's okay. Okay. I just want to thank everybody that has come along for this ride today. I will have all the links down below. What was I just going to say? Oh, and link to Sandy's website. And I'll try to link the Ohuhu directly. If you're not familiar with Sandy's website, it can be a little confusing. She is an incredible artist. Oh no. Hang on. We're poking this up. That was crazy. I needed dimensionals on that. That's what I get for walking and chewing bubble gum at the same time. Okay. Someday I will run out of these Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Okay, I just need to make sure I want the white on top. And let me see if I can straighten that up and see if I can get this straight. Perfect. That's what I'm going to use. And let's get my reverse tweezers. Let's get the sentiment down. And we're just putting this straight down. And perfect. I'm going to get a block here real quick. And here are, oops, my little sandals. Put this one here in the center. And then we'll put one on one side. And then the ones on the other. They don't have to be right in a line, just something fun. And this guy, we're going to put up here on the corner, but I'm going to put one dimensional up at the crown of the hat. And then a little bit of glue right here. Because I want it to just look like it's hanging there on the corner. Isn't that so fun? Now, Cartwright sequins and beads. I love that place. They have these gorgeous, they call them confetti because they don't have the hole in the middle. And they come in lots of different colors, but I thought the mermaid crystal metallic confetti was absolutely perfect for this because look at that on the original card. It just matches and they're metallic, so they change colors depending on how the light hits them. And I thought it was just perfect. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put them in the same. Oh, too much glue. I forgot this glue. This is Gina's matte glue, and if you squeeze, sometimes it just comes out really fast. So you just have to be careful. And I might have had that upside down in my holder that I found on Etsy. And these are concave, so you just have to make sure. That was a big one. They're facing the right direction, so if you see me do this, it's because it was the wrong direction. Oops. There you go, stick. Let's get another tiny one. That's got two. Nope. Sometimes you have two of them stuck together. And then one more smaller one right here. There we go. I think this was a fun card. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will, like I said earlier in the video, I will have everything listed down below that I've used. If you find that I've missed something, just leave me a comment. And while you're down there, if you would hit that like button, it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. I really appreciate you stopping by. And if this is content that inspires you and you want to see more of it, just hit that subscribe button down below. And then be sure to hit that notification bell so that the next time I upload a video, you are notified. So until next time, happy stamping.